correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but isn't it safe to assume that many Hispanic people are leaving Mexico because the government is being taken over by the cartels, the states over there are being taken over by the cartels, and they don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of violence? I believe if one person came over here legally, maybe two, as long as you come over here legally, you would be able to thrive in the community and thrive in whatever career that you want to do. But once you have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people coming over here, that seems like we may have an actual problem, right? They're going to bring that violence over here. I don't have the option to move out of the hood to the suburbs and go live over somewhere rent free and get a bunch of benefits just because I want to be safe. Everybody has to follow the law and do the right thing. Comment what you guys think. Let's get right to the video.
Federal immigration agents are increasingly under attack as Homeland Security announces a more than 800% increase in assaults on its officers.
Oh, sad. It comes as authorities are.
So, guys, that right there, that's not a surge, right? That is a siege. And the Democrats are the ones opening the gates to make sure something like this happens because they want to see Trump's presidency go down in flames. You heard it here first, man. Like the video. Let's keep going.
Capturing the last remaining, or they did capture the last remaining suspect that was connected to that ambush attack on officers down in the great state of Texas earlier this month.
It's just unbelievable. Lucas Thomason joins us live in Washington with the details. Good morning, Lucas. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Lawrence, Ainsley, and Brian. The Department of Homeland Security is blaming Democratic politicians for a spike in recent assaults on U.S. immigration and customs officers. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem directing her ire at California Governor Gavin Newsom, posting, "Just in, our brave ICE law enforcement are now facing, as you mentioned, an 830% increase in assaults against them. This new data reflects the violence against our law enforcement in cities across the country in the last few weeks. Politicians across the country, regardless of political stripe, must condemn this. Gavin Newsom, we're looking at you." The FBI announced that its
That right there, guys, is what leadership looks like. Name names and drop receipts. We're not being soft. No more soft words for people that are soft on crime. These soft on crime governors are ruining America.
captured a former Marine Corps reservist accused of shooting at ICE officers at a Texas detention facility on July 4th. The FBI Dallas field office says it apprehended this man, 32-year-old Benjamin Song, Tuesday afternoon in Dallas. Charges include 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer and 3 counts of discharging a firearm. He's accused of firing 2 AR-15-style rifles at 2 correctional officers and 1 Alvarado police officer. Song allegedly joined a group of up to 12 others in a premeditated attack on the officers at the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado on Independence Day. Now, President Trump recently said he thinks very stupid people on the left are getting financed to carry out attacks like this on ICE agents and other police officers, noting the suspects were kitted out with new military-style rifles and other tactical gear, guys.
Guys, it's not just stupidity, right? This is sponsored stupidity. The NGOs are funding this stuff with your taxpayer dollars.
All right, do we know how that police officer's doing, Lucas? He was shot in the neck, the guy down in Texas.
Not immediately. They say he's in stable condition, Ainsley.
Okay, well, he'll survive, right?
Thank God.
Right.
Thanks, Lucas.
So there's so many different elements to immigration. Number one, what Lucas was talking about with ICE, right? Yep. Trying to get the 8 to 20 million, whoever came here during the Biden years, and round them up, and then find out the criminals amongst them. But the one thing is clear, the president's accomplished one goal quicker than anyone thought possible, maybe even him. Oh, yeah. He has totally shut down the southern border. Did you see these numbers in June?
Incredible.
I mean, it's just incredible when you look at the story that the president was able to do with no new legislation, no new money. 25, look at the big ball right here. For June, the border numbers are very clear. 25,000 total encounters nationwide. That's at every...
You heard it, guys. No new laws, no extra funding, just Trump. Just Trump. That is crazy to me. One man did it. What the entire government said was basically impossible. They said it was impossible, and one man did it. That is just crazy. He didn't have to make a new law. He didn't have to go pay citizens to watch the. He got this done. Man, they're trying to do everything they can to make this look bad.
Border sector. When you look at the apprehensions, historically low. A little over 8,000. When you look at the southwest border apprehensions, it's 15% lower than the previous month. at 6,000. And then when you look at June 28th, talking about the lowest single day total in agency history of 136. And I think this is the true number right there. Parole releases is at 0. I think it's safe to say that we finally have operational control
First time in our lifetime.
of the border. The border is secure.
Well, and when Kristi Noem, when she said the assaults on police officers, or I mean on ICE officers, has gone up 830%. Many of them are blaming the Democrats and the mainstream media, saying their lies and their fake stories continue to stir hate and violence. When you look at what some of these lawmakers are doing, you have that congresswoman out in California who shared ICE employees' business cards with violent groups. And one of those business cards resulted, the address was on there. They went over to the guy. As a result, the ICE official was attacked, hit with a rock, taken to the hospital, and had stitches. We've been telling you about this story. Also, you have the Congresswoman LaMonica McIver. Remember that story when she went to the detention center in Newark?
She assaulted him.
Yes, she is accused of storming an ICE detention center in Newark and allegedly assaulting an ICE officer. You have ICE officers that were doxxed and threatened by Antifa-affiliated groups in Portland, Oregon, and says the group posted pictures and personal addresses of these ICE officers.
Yeah, you had 5 Iranian.
So right there, guys, that right there is not activism, right? That is terrorism. Imagine if someone was wearing a MAGA hat and did that. You would see CNN there, like at the very second. They weren't there when they were kitted out, wearing military gear. They had military gear, AR rifles. They weren't there calling it a protest. They weren't there doing anything because this seems to me like a huge inside job. They couldn't do it with those California fires with Gavin Newsom. They tried to literally burn this place down and make it look so bad. That's what I believe. They try to make it look so bad because they want to cause enough havoc to maybe get an impeachment. That's what I believe. Let's keep going. Let me know what you're thinking down below in the comments.
Who are nabbed at the U.S. northern border. Keep in mind, they just had another assassination attempt at, threat at President Trump. Did you see that?
Offering, what, $40 million for someone who kills Donald
And it was,
Trump?
what do they call it, crowdsourcing?
Yes.
So everyone was able to chip in. So you wonder, Secret Service, you better be on your game. I hope you are. Sean Curran's running things. But the other subplot, I think, to the immigration story, which has so many different moves, we always looked at these NGOs. They're getting these numbers. So people will cross. They'll end up with the Catholic Charities and others. They get this huge sum of money. And then these guys come across, these men and women come across, some unaccompanied minors. They come in, they get their clothes, they get there, and they're shipped out. And I'm thinking, how do they get this money? Where are they actually going? Well, now they're doing an investigation. And it turns out that FEMA funneled massive grants to NGOs through what became the Shelter and Service Program. Those funds help cover hotel stays, transportation, other perks. They're starting to look at 200 separate NGOs. Where's the money? What did you do? Who commissioned you? And by the way, I like an accounting of all of it.
And don't forget what Elon Musk said during Doge. He said that's those are taxpayer dollars.
He said it was one of the biggest boondoggles that he was able to
because what happens is the government gives all this money to the NGOs because they pretend to do great work, and many of them do. But some of them are anti-Israel. Some of them are anti-ICE or law enforcement. They get a big chunk of change from the federal government, and then they can spend it however they want, and we can't track it.
So you got to expose.
You're paying for the invasion, and they're laundering it through nonprofits who hate the country. We need to call it what it is: taxpayer-funded treason. We don't need any more new laws. We need more of the truth. Trump shut down the border, and Kristi Noem is dropping full names. And I'm starting to believe Americans are finally waking up. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And as always, let me know what you react to. We're out.